Well, joining us now, one of those Indian nationals who has managed to make it back to this country, Jafar Sharif, joins us. He worked at Kabul airport. Jafar, thank you very much for being with us. Jafar, were you one of those who was evacuated on the Indian Air Force flight this morning from Kabul?
Sir, can I talk in Hindi?
Jafar, were you evacuated? Were you evacuated from from Kabul this morning?
No, sir. I was evacuated on 16th of August from Afghanistan.
Right.
In a US Army flight, I have taken us to the Doha.
Right. So tell us a little bit about that. How difficult was it for you to get out of Kabul?
Can I convey this in Hindi, sir, if you don't
नहीं
mind?
जरूर. आप वो काबुल से बाहर जाने कितना मुश्किल रहा, आप वो काबुल एयरपोर्ट में क्या मुश्किल आए थे, वो इसके बारे में बताइए. मुश्किलें थे, क्या मुश्किलें थे वहाँ?
ओके सर. एक्चुअली क्या है ना, हम लोग काबुल एयरपोर्ट का अंदर ही काम कर रहे थे
जी.
उधर से क्या हुआ, जो 16 तारीख का सुबह में 16 सुबह ये तालिबान ने वो अफगानिस्तान काबुल को कब्जा कर दिया. और एक बजे जैसा लंच टाइम पर 1 बजे जैसा क्या हुआ, वो लोग लोकल नेशनलिटी वो लोग एयरपोर्ट के अंदर आ गए. वो जो बेस को आना चाहते हैं उन लोगों को सेफ्टी के लिए, वो लोग सोच रहे हैं अगर वो लोग बेस के अंदर आ जाएंगे तो उन लोगों को सेफ्टी मिलेगा और उन लोगों को यूएस लेके चले जाएंगे. लेकिन उस वक्त क्या हो गया, पूरा वो लोग आके रनवे में ऑक्यूपाई कर लिए थे. रनवे का ऑक्यूपाई करने से कौन सा भी फ्लाइट उतर नहीं पाया. अगर कौन सा भी फ्लाइट नहीं उतरा तो हम लोग उधर से नहीं निकल सकते. तो 16th आफ्टरनून से 17th नाइट तक वो लोग पूरा उधर ही थे, रनवे पे बैठे रहे थे. बच्चे बूढ़े लोग सब लोग उधर ही बैठे थे. हम लोग एक भी फ्लाइट नहीं उतराया और एयरफोर्स ने क्लियर बोल दिया 48 आवर्स तक कुछ भी फ्लाइट नहीं उतरेगा
जी.
उसके बाद अमेरिकन मैरिन उतर के उन लोग रनवे को क्लियर किया. आप वो क्या बोल रहे हैं सर, हम लोग अभी सोच रहे हैं तो कई बॉर्डर में रह रहे हैं, 2 कंट्री का झगड़ा हो रहा है, तो आप लोग तो हमेशा गन शॉट और वो हैंड ग्रेनेड का साउंड तो आपको मिलता ही रहेगा. वो सिचुएशन हम लोगों को मिला. हम लोग बैठ रहे हैं रात भर, मुझे तो नींद ही नहीं आई डर के वजह से.
और आपका जो इवैक्यूएशन हुआ 16 तारीख को, ये आपको दोहा लिया गया, तो आप वो दोहा कैसे पहुंचे? काबुल से सीधा पहुंचे या ताजिकिस्तान या और कहीं जगह से पहुंचे?
नहीं सर, सीधा दोहा से अमेरिकन C-70 फ्लाइट हम लोगों को, वो फ्लाइट में हम लोग 400 बंदे थे, 400 लोगों को सीधा लेके चले गए उधर दोहा लेके चले गए.
और उस इवैक्यूएशन फ्लाइट में का परमिशन, उस प्लेन में बैठना वो कितना मुश्किल था? आपको लग रहा था कि शायद अमेरिकन फोर्सेस या लोकल फोर्सेस आपको परमिशन नहीं देंगे?
बहुत मुश्किल था सर, क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा लोग उधर बैठ रहे थे. मैं बोल सकता हूँ कि हमारे बेस के अंदर कम से कम 600 पैसेंजर के लिए 1 लाख लोग बाहर खड़ा था. सब लोग अंदर घुसने के लिए ट्राई कर रहे हैं. वो आर्मी बहुत स्टॉप किया था, किसी के कोई प्रायोरिटी लोग में कौन जो है उन लोगों को छोड़ रहा था. हम लोग नेटो आर्मी को काम कर रहे थे, इसलिए हम लोग प्रायोरिटी पे आ गए. वो लोग बोला अच्छा चलो तुम लोग पहले निकल जाओ.
और हाईवे का और रनवे का जो कंडीशन था, हमने कई वीडियोस में देखा है, लोग वो रनवे पे आ चुके थे, प्लेन के व्हील वेल में घुस गए थे, कई लोग मारे भी गए थे, शायद 3 या 4 लोग प्लेन से गिर भी गए थे. तो आपका प्लेन, आपका फ्लाइट जब टैक्सी हो रहा था, आपको कुछ आइडिया था, कुछ पता था कि बाहर क्या हो रहा है?
सर एक्चुअली वो जो बंदे लोग फ्लाइट में चढ़े, वो रनवे पे लोग बैठ के वो C-70 पे व्हील पे चढ़े थे ना, वो लोग हम लोग आंख के सामने देखे थे क्या हुआ करके. उस दिन
आपने देखा
क्या
था?
हुआ, C-70 फ्लाइट जो है ना सर, हम लोग अंदर, मैं देखा था सर.
क्या देखा था?
मेरा काम ही
बताइए.
वो है, हम लोग बेस के अंदर काम कर रहे हैं. अपना रनवे मेरे से 100 मीटर दूर में, मेरा ऑफिस 100 मीटर दूर पे मैं देख सकता हूँ रनवे को
जी.
हम लोग नेटो बेस के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. उस दिन रनवे पे क्या हो गया, ये फ्लाइट आ गया अमेरिकन, ये C-70 के पहले एक तुर्किश फ्लाइट टेक ऑफ होने वाला था. तुर्किश फ्लाइट जाके खड़ गया, ये लोग पूरा रनवे में आके बैठ गए लोग. तुर्किश फ्लाइट 2 घंटा वेट किया, उन लोगों को टेक ऑफ करने नहीं देने के बाद वो तुर्किश फ्लाइट को फिर वापस पैक्स में लेके आ गए. उसके बाद क्या हुआ, ये अमेरिकन फ्लाइट ट्राई करते वक्त ये मरीन अंदर घुस के जाके ग्राउंड शॉट करने लगे, मतलब उन लोगों को भगाने लगे. तो थोड़े लोग भगाने के बाद रनवे क्लियर हुआ, तो C-70 स्टार्ट हुआ. C-70 स्टार्ट होते ही इधर ये लोग लोकल लोग, अनजान लोग हैं शायद उन लोग, वो लोग क्या सोचा अगर ये लोग चढ़ने करेंगे तो वो गाड़ी रुकेगा, चढ़ जाएंगे. मैं वो C-70 में ट्रैवल कर चुका हूँ. वो C-70 में अगर अंदर आप लोग बैठे हैं तो फुल कवर्ड है सर, बाहर का क्या चल रहा है, किधर चल रहा है, किसी को कुछ नहीं पता है। मे बी वो जो पायलट है ना, उन लोगों को पता है, लेकिन हम लोग जो पैसेंजर है, वो क्रू है, उन लोगों को कुछ भी पता, फुल सील्ड पैक्ड है वो। तो उसमें चढ़ के ये लोग टायर में, क्योंकि मेरा एक कॉन्ट्रैक्टर वो बाहर से वो टाइम पर रनवे पे था, वो मुझे बोला कि वो लोग सोचे कि टायर के अंदर घुसेगा तो टायर अंदर लेगा ना, जो टेक ऑफ होने के बाद वो लोग अंदर चला जाएंगे। वो
तो जाफर एक चीज बताइए, आपका फ्लाइट जो था, आप दोहा तक गए और दोहा से इंडिया आज वापस आया
ऐसा,
और आज आप सिविलियन फ्लाइट में वापस आए?
सर हम लोग
आप इंडिगो या क्या विस्तारा में वापस आए?
सर हम लोग सुबह विस्तारा में थे,
आप विस्तारा फ्लाइट में आज सुबह वापस आया।
सुबह 5।
तो अब जो आप वापस आए हैं,
मॉर्निंग 5 o'clock।
मतलब व्हाट डू यू फील, व्हाट इज योर फैमिली टेलिंग यू? आप बहुत खुश होंगे कि आप बाल बचे वहां?
सर मैं फ्लाइट में चढ़ते ही, फ्लाइट टेक ऑफ होता ही मेरा रिएक्शन यही था, यस वी मेड इट। ये मेरा यही था कि जब आईटा से निकला तो वही फीलिंग था, और उधर से निकलता हुआ तो एक ही खुशी था कि अपना देश जा रहे हैं
जी।
जहाँ क्या कुछ भी करना है, मरना तो अपने देश में मरेंगे, वही सोच के हम लोग निकले थे। काबुल से निकलता वक्त तो वही है यार, हम लोग इधर आए, कमाने के लिए आए थे, मरना तो क्यों इधर मरेंगे, अपने देश में जाएंगे, अपने देश में मरेंगे।
और अप्रोक्सीमेटली इस विस्तारा फ्लाइट में आपके साथ कितने और पैसेंजर्स थे इंडियंस?
अप्रोक्सीमेट मैं एक लिस्ट बोल सकता हूँ। मेरे कंपनी का मेरे साथ 34 पैक्स थे, और दूसरे कंपनी का पूरा मिला के 110 अराउंड 110 पैक्स थे।
110 इंडियन नेशनल्स इस फ्लाइट में, ये दोहा से
इंडियन नेशनल्स।
तो अब आप ये बताइए, शायद राइट, हर इंडियन नेशनल्स, शायद आप वापस काबुल या अफगानिस्तान नहीं जा पाएंगे, वहां का स्थिति आपको पता है बहुत खराब है। तो आपका जॉब वहां था, आपके शायद कुछ सेविंग्स भी वहां थे, आपके पर्सनल बिलोंगिंग्स भी वहां थे, आपको सब छोड़ के यहाँ आना पड़ा वापस डेस्परेशन के हिसाब से। तो आपको क्या मतलब आपको एक नया फ्यूचर बनवाना पड़ेगा, इज दैट राइट?
राइट सर। नहीं अभी सर हम लोगों का पहले रहते हो तो हम लोगों को जो अटैक चालू होने के बाद यही सोचा ये क्या ये लेके जाऊं, वो लेके जाऊं। अटैक जब एक्स्ट्रा ज़्यादा होने लगा तो चलो यार कुछ भी छोड़ो, जिंदा रहेंगे तो हम लोग कुछ भी कमा लेंगे, फैमिली को रन कर लेंगे, अगर जान ही नहीं बचेगे तो क्या करेंगे। वही सोच के सर उधर से जो भी निकला 99.9% लोगों का मन में वही था कि चलो जान बची, कमा लेंगे, बाद में कमा लेंगे। लेकिन इधर आने के बाद अभी आ गए, इंडिया आ गए, इसके बाद फिर से फ्रॉम जीरो वी हैव टू स्टार्ट।
Well, Jafar, you're back at home, and that's a big relief. Congratulations, and I'm sure your family is also relieved. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We're joined by Ramin Saidi now. He's an Afghan-American citizen, has worked with the US government in Afghanistan, presently in Washington, aware of the critical situation in Kabul. Ramin, I believe your brothers have been stuck at or outside Kabul airport or in Kabul airport for 48 hours. Is that still the case?
Good evening. Yes, that's still the case. There's a chaos outside airport. There's thousands of people. There's no management, and it's actually very, very scary out there. Because from what I know, actually, there was a baby actually who died on the scene outside the airport yesterday.
And Ramin, have you been given any assurances of a flight for your relatives out of Kabul?
I have not given any assurances, but we have been trying everything possible in our way. We have been contacting our congressman here for the state. We have been contacting the Department of State. But there's no assurances, but they are saying we are doing what we can. The fact is actually that there's no management. They do not have the control of the airport. It's basically who gets there, crossing 10,000 people somehow manage to get on the door and get inside is the one going to be out.
And your brothers, they're Afghan nationals, right? They don't have a dual citizenship or anything?
They do not. There is an Afghan citizen actually who also served for the U.S. government, and he's stuck right now in Kabul, and I'm trying, as a U.S. citizen, because I work for the government, he is also in danger. So my point is to getting him out, and I'm trying everything possible, but apparently there is no management out there. It's a chaos. It's worse what we see in pictures, actually.
Ramin, did you say that your brother, one of these brothers, works or did work for the U.S. in Kabul, in Afghanistan?
Yes, he did.
So
yes,
wouldn't that put him in a potentially vulnerable spot, which is why I would assume the Americans would show some leniency and try and get him in? I mean, has he been able to establish contact?
Absolutely. The point of contact, we are doing everything because right now he's not in that situation to put documents together, everything, because right now the first thing for him is to save his life. So we are doing everything on his behalf. We're submitting. He have been able to submit certain documents.
So it's one brother, not two brothers, right? It's one brother who's stuck.
It is one brother. That's correct. Yes. He's in Afghanistan currently. He's in Kabul. He's been behind the airport door amongst tens of thousands of people for the last 48 hours with no food. They're putting actually tear gas on people. There's a lot of hitting, a lot of whip, a lot of pushing. And there are ladies, children, and everything. And I also want to talk about the refugees who are actually arriving in the States. The government is not doing enough. As an Afghan community, we came together. Yesterday, there were like 3 flights which came from Qatar and different locations. And we put donations together. We prepared for tens of thousands of people. But at the end, Department of State would not let us actually to intervene, welcome our people, help them, give them what they need, compassion, love, and food, everything. They basically told us it's due to security situation. We do not need volunteers. So they do not allow us actually to give them what they need. We were able to manage one group initially, but at the end, they changed the location and they let us in for a minute, but there was not enough stuff. We literally had 2 trucks of donation behind the cars for all our Afghans coming together, including other Arab people, all the Americans as well, welcoming all these refugees. But it was painful to actually watch these people, the kids. You could see the trauma in their eyes when they arrived. And we wanted to actually help them more further, but the Department of State would not allow us to actually go to this refugee center, help them, bring them food, bring them clothes, bring them toys for the kids and everything. So it's mismanagement back in Afghanistan. It's mismanagement back here as well. It's a chaos altogether.
Ramin, is there a plan B for your brother in case he's not able to board a flight? Is he prepared to hang on? I don't know. I mean, or does he just have to get out for his safety's sake?
I want him to get out. At this point, I do not want to think about plan B. Plan A is plan A, and I want him to be out because I know for a fact we might not get there to plan B because it's dangerous. These people, what they show right now, they have not changed a bit. I do not want to see, there are some posts that I see the Taliban has changed. They have not changed. They want recognition internationally. That's why they're not doing anything. I'm afraid when this chaos ends, if the U.S. leaving this kind of vulnerable people behind, they will be beheaded. They will be slaughtered. Yeah. They're literally going door by door, taking names. They are giving that smirk smile and saying, we know who you are. We will come back for you. Yeah. Maybe they're not doing it now. There are stuff happening which is not on cameras. Maybe it's not on the news outlets, but there are stuff happening. People are being shot. Commandos are being killed. Government officials are being killed. Especially people who work with the U.S. mission, supported the U.S. mission. My appeal to the U.S. government at this point is like, we worked shoulder to shoulder. We helped you go through your mission in Afghanistan. What are you going to do? Are you going to leave us there? What happened with the last 20 years? 20 years, it sounds like it just looks like a movie. Literally, the first time when the Taliban came, I was a young man. I was in Afghanistan myself. So I'm getting all those 20 years of flashbacks. I woke up the next day, Taliban was in country. Same thing happened. Government collapsed in a matter of weeks. And they're not doing enough. It's totally chaos, and they do not have the hold of it. They do not have, at this point, I think Taliban have the upper hand. They make decisions, not the Americans.
Look, Ramin, we broadcast around the world, and this message is being heard all over the world, and we certainly hope there are those in the United States and, who are watching this. And I just hope that your brother stays safe. It is absolutely terrifying what's going on there. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, around 300 Indians were evacuated via Doha. You saw one of those individuals, Jafar, a little while ago on this program. 89 via Dushanbe, that's the capital of Tajikistan, and 168 via Kabul. There's another flight which is coming in from the Middle East as well today. So the Indian evacuations really picking up pace today.
A day of relief for the 300 Indians who reached the national capital early this morning from Kabul. Many were evacuated on 3 commercial flights, Air India, Indigo and Vistara. via Tajikistan's capital Dushanbe and Qatar's Doha. Chandan Nandi, who is from West Bengal, was working at the Indian embassy in Kabul when the city fell to the Taliban.
अचानक काबुल के बाहर जो भी सिटी है, जो भी स्टेट है, वो तो कैप्चर कर रहा था, लेकिन हम लोग ये मतलब बिल्कुल हम लोगों को ये अंदाजा था ही नहीं कि 2 घंटे के अंदर काबुल मतलब तालिबान के हाथ में आ जाएंगे। एयरपोर्ट का हालात बहुत बुरा है कि हम लोग एयरपोर्ट जा नहीं पा रहा हूँ। जो मेन प्रॉब्लम था, बहुत फायरिंग हो रहा था, काफ़ी सारे बंदे मारे भी गए।
He was rescued from Kabul and taken to the neighboring Tajikistan. From there, he took an Air India flight to Delhi. At Delhi airport, they waited over 7 hours for their RT-PCR test results before being allowed to leave. But Jafar from Chennai says the relief to be on Indian soil outweighs any frustration. He was working at the Kabul airport and was evacuated with 33 of his colleagues. He is now frantically booking connecting flights for his co-workers.
जान हाथ में लेके चले क्योंकि बाहर अटैक हो रहा है, लोग अंदर आ रहे हैं, वो जो तालिबान जो लेकर अंदर आ रहे हैं, हम लोगों को डर रहा था कि वो अंदर घुस गए तो हम लोग मार देंगे.
His colleague Kamal can't stop smiling at the prospect of finally seeing his family in Bangalore.
What can I say? I get back to them, I loved ones. I love them very much and I am here with them now. Once I land in my motherland, I am feeling very relaxed now.
A long and exhausting ordeal is finally over for at least 100 Indians who are stuck in Afghanistan. For some, there is still further to go to be home with loved ones, but in their own words, the relief to be back on home soil is massive. With Pavan Kumar, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
Well, next up on the show, the brother of Ashraf Ghani, the former president of Afghanistan who fled the country. Hashmat Ghani is in Kabul. I spoke to him earlier today. He says he doesn't explicitly support the Taliban, but says there is no choice but to accept them. So your brother, President Ashraf Ghani, was seen to have betrayed his people, and reports say that he made off with millions of dollars. Are you still in touch with him?
Well, I am in touch. That is a wrong accusation. The plane had landed in Uzbekistan. It was terrorist search. The plane was landed after that in the UAE. There was no money in it. He left in a hurry. There was an assassination plot on him. I mean, if he would have stayed in Jordan killed with all our tribal ties, all our political ties, everything else, it would have turned into a total mess. In a few days, I'm sure in coming days, all that could be explained. Those accusations are false. I'm sure once the UAE government allows them to leave that country or come out openly and give the details, both those governments can certify that he had no cash or anything like that.
All right. Okay. So door-to-door searches continue. Women journalists are not allowed to return to work. Aren't some of the promises made by the Taliban already starting to unravel?
But there's certainly some of the elements on it that really are on the older mentality, and I hope once they come together and they form a government, they could really bring out a full agenda clear across the board so people understand where they stand. And once the jails broke, and a lot of the criminals element also got out of jail, there's a lot of, especially now it's less than in the first year, there were a lot of the elements that were going to the houses for looting, and also some of the old Ekmatiyar lot. Even in the first 2 hours, a group of them tried to break into my compound also to take a car.
And yet you support them.
They joined once the Taliban leadership came in. So there are all kind of elements at play. There are criminals elements, there are eight elements, there are other people. For them also to organize that in such a short span of time, I could understand is a difficult one because there was a vacuum of power also in the entire government setup just vanished overnight.
Sir, you are seeing already in Afghanistan a handful of military reverses. Also, we are seeing Amrullah Saleh, the first vice president, starting a resistance movement in the Panjshir. Many people would say that this is the beginning of yet another civil war. How would you respond?
Actually, no. Ahmad Masood, some of the Soranwal Ikram and some of the most senior Panjsheris are in talks. Even some of them have called through me for a peaceful resolution of Panjsher. Amrullah is a loner. He's a total idiot. He's the one that ruined my brother and ruined the country among a few others with his fake theories and lies. He is not somebody that has much of a follower.
Sir, do you believe that India should have diplomatic relations with the Taliban?
I think it should be seen. I cannot, there is a strong Pakistan influence. I don't doubt or I don't deny it. I think once the government forms in, they have no choice but to have a political relationship. And if it was my decision, they should have invite everyone back. Without international relationship and without the regional relationship, no government can function.
Sir, how would you respond to those who say that the Taliban, who you are now supporting, are just an extension of the Pakistani ISI?
Sir, I have a joke for you. Years ago, I said it in Pakistan. Afghans can be rented. Afghans cannot be bought. Over time, their rent increases to so high that no one can afford it.
What happens when America and NATO forces go away from Kabul airport? Will there be a bloodbath? That is the worry. What is your view?
No, I don't think so. They have shown a courtesy to the Afghan businesses. They have shown a courtesy to those that reach them. If they can convince people that they are out for peace, I'm sure the rest will join in. As far as women's rights, they keep on saying that they would allow them to work and they're not going to deny them. I hope that there are occasions that some girls in some locality, like I said, sporadic groups have been prevented. But we hear this over and over from the senior ones that they do not have any objection. I have risked my life over and over several times and decide on it. One more time isn't going to hurt it.
Okay.
The accepting and supporting is two different things on it. So if you're trying
all right,
to...
so you're saying you are... All right, I take your point.
The
line is a bit bad and I've finally been able to hear you clearly. You are saying that you accept the Taliban, you do not support them. Is that right?
Exactly. Supporting
okay.
is a very strong word.